Olá, bem-vindos ao Entrevista à Portuguesa. Estou aqui com a Wanetah. Hi, welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
My first question is, what made you want to become an actress?
Well, I honestly don't remember not knowing. I think I just my earliest memories were singing and dancing and playing pretend all by myself in my bedroom when I was a kid. My my mom used to make me watch Shirley Temple movies. And I don't know if you know who that is, but she was an old child star when I was young. So, but we had hair exactly alike, I just looked like an Asian American version of her. And so I watched her sing and dance all the time. And I just feel like I always knew that's what I was going to do. So.
And did you ever at some point wanted to do anything else?
Yes, I want to do everything else. I still want to do everything else. I think that was a big part of me loving acting was if I saw something, if I watched something, I wanted to do that. I was never much of an observer. I always wanted to participate. I still have so many interests, way beyond acting these days. I think I could be happy doing a lot of different things. I want to experience a lot of different things, and that was a big draw to acting as well.
And how was your first acting job?
In film, it was I'll tell you my film experience because before that I had only done theater. And so I was driving 5 hours to audition in Shreveport, Louisiana, and auditioning for 5 minutes, at most, then driving back. And there finally came this role. It was the role of Kristen in Straw Dogs, which was a remake. And I just, it was just a really perfect role for me. And when I booked it, I didn't know anything. So a lot of people, a lot of new actors, I try to prepare them as much as possible because you don't get an instruction manual, for being on set. You receive a call sheet and that's confusing to a first comer, and I didn't realize that we didn't have a rehearsal. So, we have a rehearsal, but we don't have a rehearsal. You know what I mean? So you show up and rehearsal is kind of like, okay, let's block this for the crew. And I remember Kate Bosworth and we were running our lines and, she was like, it's your line. We just paused for a second. She was like, it's your line. And I was like, no, it's your line. She was like, it's your line. And then they were like, hold on, what's going on? And then the director was like, Wanetah, you didn't see I gave you like 5 more new lines. And I was like, what? And they were like, yeah, they were in the sides in your trailer. And I didn't even know what sides were. So I didn't know to like look at them, to make sure nothing was different. And I had to learn, 5 new lines really quickly. And then by the time, we went to a roll, it was done. And it was a crazy experience, for someone who didn't know. I didn't know anything. So I was really green. And so I was really grateful to make it into that movie, and the director called me and said, you don't know this. You're too green to know this. But usually you end up on the editing floor. So, you made it into the movie, and I was really thankful for that.
And what is your favorite thing about acting?
Man, I'm really interested in people. I always have been. Um, I think for me, I grew up in a really small town in Louisiana, And I knew I wanted so much more. And the TV was my outlet to the outer world, the rest of the world, and seeing how other people lived. And I think stories teach us so much about how to behave, what to do in a certain situation, right? Even though sometimes that's kind of fantastical and skewed. But just how to relate to so many different people that might not look like you, but you share that same inner world. And I think, I've had one of the biggest blessings in my life is that I seem to have fit into a lot of different circles growing up. So I met a lot of different people, and you kind of learn that we're all pretty similar in the ways that matter. And so I love just stepping into someone else's shoes. It helps me to not judge, to judge less and love more, I think, so probably that.
That's beautiful. What are your goals as an actress in your career?
Well, that just shifts a lot for me. I love being on stage. So as far as acting, as far as film and television, there's a lot of disrupt that's happening right now. I love writing and I love directing. And so I'm moving towards making my own content. I really love being in control of creating almost everything. Above just being an actor, I just see myself as a creative and an artist. And so I think directing allows me to encompass everything that I'm good at and everything I love to do. So I love bringing all of that together. So as an actor, I would say that for sure, if I stay in film and television, I think I would just naturally want to evolve into written and directed by, as your shirt says. And so I just finished a short to be placed into a competition. And, I wrote it, I directed it, I produced it. We kind of did it experimental, avant-garde. So we also shot it. We did a lot of the editing. I do have an editor. He's wonderful. I'm writing a song for it, so I think that's another goal too. As an actor, I love music. Like, music is definitely my first love. So to make musical movies and to always just involve music, or maybe even center films around music would definitely be the goal.
Yeah, cinema and music go hand in hand almost. I study music.
Yeah.
And I love music and cinema and everything. I think they complement each other so well. You talked about a short. What was your inspiration for it?
I feel like when as a writer, things just kind of get downloaded, right? Like maybe we just catch that wave, and it comes pouring through you and you just get to be the vessel, and if you want to keep it, if you want to keep that great idea, you just take action. So, when it comes to writing, I just let it pour through me. This particular short is about hitting the lottery. It's about a couple who hits the lottery, and they, in doing so, it's the short has to be less than 15 minutes. So in doing so, it's kind of the first 15 minutes of hitting the lottery. And this couple, kind of, they just go through the ups and downs of what that craziness is like. And they discover certain things about themselves and each other and their relationship and the trajectory of its future, and it's a comedy. So, I don't know if that was the question. What was it about? Oh, what was the inspiration? And part of that was it was something I wrote a few years ago. And because of the pandemic and all of these things happening, we just never did it. And so this year was the opportunity to do it. But one thing that I wanted to do and I was really inspired to do was shoot it in a certain way. And because it's a short film, I wanted to take chances and I wanted to experiment and I didn't want to spend a lot of money, you know? So with those parameters, I think we came out with something like really, really just cool and entertaining and something I'm really proud of. And it's shot like one shot, you know? So it's kind of like theater. And we were behind the camera and in front of the camera and placing the camera to get the perfect shots. So it was really cool.
As an actress, do you prefer theater or film and television?
Performing it, I prefer stage. There's nothing like. I love the energy of other humans and I love the instant gratification. I love knowing that a joke works, you know, or just feeling people being moved. I love that it's a sacred experience that, you know, only those who attend are involved. And so, you know, one night you can have just an incredible show, you know, that is just like everyone feels really special to have witnessed that moment in time. But on the other hand, as far as watching and being an audience member, I love film and television. I think it's that participation thing. I think I love doing theater so much that I don't always, if I watch it, I just want to be up there with them and do it. So I prefer to watch film and television. What I do love about film and television is that it lasts beyond you. It can last forever. You know, I love all the moving parts that come together. I love the hyperrealism that can be created, you know, versus theater. I love how visual it is. You know, I just love a good film, you know. And so, yeah, I think that being said, I have had more substantial roles as an actor in theater as well. So I just like to be highly involved in something that I'm doing, you know? So if I have that experience in film, maybe I would say it, you know, maybe I'd change my mind, but I don't know. It's really hard to not, you know, fall in love with that kind of energy that a stage can bring.
And I came to know you and your work through the movie Pitch Perfect. It's where I saw you for the first time. And I was curious, how was the experience on that hit movie?
Well, I will say that I had a unique experience. For me, that movie, I'm so thankful that I was a part of it because I get to meet so many people like you know, who are in love with that movie. And that movie has just crossed so many boundaries. And that's amazing. You know, I meet adult frat boys who who love that movie. And then I'm still meeting young people and the artists of the next generation who had to be so young when that movie came out, you know, and that's their favorite movie. And so I get to have that experience, you know, and that's really special. And that movie brought a lot of joy to a lot of people. And it really showed me what cinema could do, you know, because sometimes as an actor, you just feel like this is so frivolous or this is so, you know, self-centered and you don't always understand the impact that, you know, cinema can do for someone and bring them joy, you know, and I believe that's definitely my main purpose of existing, you know. So that experience was amazing in a lot of ways for me because I love one, I love rehearsal, and we did rehearse. We rehearsed several months for that. I love to sing. I love to dance, and I learned so much musically. Like acapella is tough, and singing the melody and dancing is one thing, but when you're singing like the bass line, and which is not the melody, but you're dancing to the melody, that's really challenging. And so that was, I love a good challenge. I love something that's going to teach me something new. And I really had to practice to coordinate that kind of thing, So I love the rehearsal process, working with the best, Aquaman Jones and the choreographer, and then just working with all these a cappella geniuses that, I mean, I learned so much. So that was fun. And just being on set and just knowing that it's going to be a hit, because you could feel that energy,
Yeah.
It's not always like that.
And what are some of your upcoming projects?
Some of my what?
Upcoming projects. I'm sorry.
Upcoming projects. So because of the strike right now, we are not allowed to talk about any upcoming projects through studios. The only things I can talk about would be like my independent film that I've produced. But I do have some films and some television shows coming out, hopefully soon, if they do come out, that were really fun. I would say nothing as musical and fun as Pitch Perfect. But, nevertheless, as an actor, I do have some projects coming out, and I'm so sorry I can't talk about them right now. But when this thing is all over, I'll tell you all about them, Sophia.
So far, what has been your favorite role to play?
Favorite role? I mean, obviously the role I wrote has been the most fun, and just doing that type of heightened comedy. But my favorite role, I have an answer for this because I thought of that the other day. I think I just did it too. Well, I guess it wasn't that much of a favorite, right? If I can't really think about it. I will say that my favorite day on set, I do know that one. My favorite experience, film and television, was True Detective. That was just so, I was working with, these incredible actors, and it was just a fantastic experience. And again, that was a project where I knew it was going to do really well. So, yeah, I'll think about it and I'll email you. But hopefully I haven't had it yet, especially with that answer, right? If I can't think of it immediately.
Yeah, maybe it's coming. Maybe it's still to come. And my final question is if you have any tips for someone who wants to be an actor or work in the film industry.
Absolutely. I think that when you're young, you truly know what you love. And, you're less hindered by the world telling you things are impractical, that these things are pipe dreams, right? That it's so hard and you shouldn't do it. Maybe it's dumb, So I think when you're young and you don't have bills to worry about, and you don't have the real world, to worry about, I would say study and practice as much as you can. Get really, really great at your craft before you have to go out there and face the rest of the world. and life really like sinks in, right? Not that your lives aren't complex as is right now, right? But it kind of gets worse, okay? I mean, look around. There's not a lot of happy adults these days, unfortunately. But, I would say just really, really, if you find something that you absolutely love, just focus on it and start right now and start where you are. Because I think a lot of times we think, well, I don't have the right equipment. I don't have the right teachers. I don't have the right classes. I'm not in the right place. I don't know the right people. I don't have the right clothes or whatever you're thinking. I'm going to wait until I'm more attractive and smarter and richer and all these things, right? And the truth is that like you just start where you are with what you have. I can tell that you love film and you love cinema, and I'm sure that you've probably already started to create your own shorts and your own films, or at least experimented with creating your own content, and so that's what I would say. As now, specifically as an actor, I will say this, and this goes for any industry right now. Right now, we are in the most tumultuous time of human existence because of AI, and a lot of people are afraid of it because it's unknown, and there are certainly reasons that we should fear certain things. But I would say that this is going to flip the industry upside down forever. And if you want to be an actor, because this was the way it was before AI came into play, but people didn't really see it so clearly. But if you want to truly be an actor, you need to empower yourself and you need to create your own content. And I know a lot of actors don't want to hear that because they're not writers and they're not directors and they're not producers, but you can start to develop a community of filmmakers, of, show creators, just creatives, and start to do it and start to learn how to do it yourself. Because, especially your generation coming up, you are unique in the sense of how much you love cinema, because most people in your generation are, they don't know who movie stars are. They know who YouTube stars are. Things are very different, right? We didn't have YouTube growing up, but a lot of people who have made it in the film and television industry started with YouTube. So I think that, you really have no excuse these days to be creative and to do your own thing, because the worst thing about being an actor is that you are at the mercy of everyone else. You're at the bottom of the totem pole and you have zero leverage, because if you won't do it for that price, there are 1,000 women behind me who will do it for free. You know what I mean? So you don't have power. You have to wait. This is one of the only arts that I know of that, you as an artist to do your craft, you have to get a yes from so many other people. That's why I love music, right? I'm not great at guitar, but I will be, because every day I get to play guitar. And that's the craft, right? I could act every day, but an actor needs an audience. And they also, unfortunately, need yeses from a lot of gatekeepers, right? There's the casting directors, the agents, the producers, the network. It's, so a lot of actors feel, very powerless because of that. And so the answer to them, for them is the same thing. If you really love this and you want to do this and you want to tell stories, start to create your own, and start to become aware of all these other platforms out there to not just create your own content, but where to place it and where to put it. And your generation is so much more keen on that idea than mine, you know. So if I was an actor and I was your age right now, I would start my own YouTube channel or whatever like it, you know, and I would create skits with my actor friends and my director friends and, you know, my stylist friends who want a set deck, and, you know, somebody out there wants to play with a camera, right? And you can be a free subject in it. And I would start where you are, and I wouldn't wait for permission from anyone else.
Those are great advice. Thank you so much. I don't have any more questions. It was a huge pleasure to have you here. It was incredible, really. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I'm so impressed with what you're doing.
Thank you.
I mean, yeah, you don't need advice from me. What you're doing right now is fantastic. And I would just say to you to keep going. This was so well organized, and, you know, it was just very impressive. I've had adults who have struggled to put these kinds of things together. So you should be really proud of yourself.
Thank you so much. That means a lot.
You're so welcome. Thank you.